Welcome to this Arnall-Culliford knitwear tutorial. This is part of our Year of Techniques, 12 projects to help you upgrade your knitting skills. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do a pinhole cast on, which is also called Emily Ocker's circular cast on. This is a great technique for starting to work projects in the round from very few stitches. It's the sort of thing you'd use at the toe of a toe-up sock or at the top of a top-down hat. Or as in our book, it's used in a toy pattern where you start casting on at the nose. So I'm going to show you how to do this cast on using some double pointed needles. You can also do it with a crochet hook, but I prefer needles. They are more comfortable in my hands. We've got our yarn, we've got the tail closest to us and the working yarn further away, and we're going to make a loop. The working yarn goes over the tail of the yarn, and then we pinch that loop in our hand. We're then going to put the needle through the loop, and the working yarn is going to go underneath the needle and come through the loop, and the working yarn then goes over the needle, and the second DPN is used to pull the first loop over the yarn. That gives us our first stitch in our circular cast on. We just tighten it up a little bit, and then we continue to do that process until we have sufficient stitches. So the DPN goes through the loop, the working yarn comes underneath and over the needle, and then the working yarn goes over the needle, and you lift the loop over to make the second stitch and tighten. Through the loop, wrap the yarn round under and over and pull it through, and then over the needle and lift off and tighten. So I've now got 3 stitches on my needle. I'm going to continue casting on until I've got 9, because that's what my pattern requires. Once you've got into the swing, you can obviously go a bit more quickly. This is one of those techniques that was ever so fiddly the first time I tried it, and then I tried it with the knitting needles and just got on so much better. So it's always worth, if you don't get on with a technique, having a look around and seeing if there's another method that you might prefer more, because we're all different. 7, 8. And one more. So in through the loop, underneath, pull through, over, and lift off. So I now have my 9 stitches on my needle, and I'm going to just pull on the tail a little bit to tighten up that circular cast on at the middle. I'm going to put our 9 stitches, 3 each, onto 3 needles, ready to start working in the round. So I slip them along. You can always introduce more needles at a later stage, or swap over to a circular needle if you'd rather work with the magic loop, whatever you're most comfortable with. So we've got our 3 stitches on each needle, and we can see this is the right side because it's smooth. If we look on the back, then you should be able to see that we've got the purl bumps on the wrong side. This pattern has stocking stitch on the right side, so that's the way round that we want it. I'm going to give the tail another little tug to tighten it up again, because I find that helps me to join into the round. And then the working yarn is attached to this needle, so we just turn it round. And we're ready to start knitting at the beginning of the next needle, so that we are totally joined into the round. So I'm going to knit across those stitches, and hopefully it's already clear that we have started right in the centre, and that we can now grow our knitting outwards by increasing. And as I said, in this case it's the nose of a mouse that we're making here. But you can equally use it for top-down hats, toe-up socks, anything where you want a closed tube of some sort. There we go. Onto the last needle, and we'll have worked the whole of our first round, starting from the pinhole or Emily Ocker's circular cast on. And once we've knitted a little bit further, we're going to tighten that centre even more by just pulling firmly on the middle, and once we've knitted more we'll be able to weave that end in. I hope that's shown you how to work a pinhole or Emily Ocker's circular cast on. If you'd like to find out more about A Year of Techniques, why not visit our website acknitwear.co.uk and try something new today. Thanks for watching.